Hey Eagles fans, welcome back to another exciting episode of the Bird Nerds in Exile. My name's James Roach.
I'm Alan Zapp.
And we're pleased as punch, man. You can't go wrong when the Eagles score 59 points in a game. Shit.
How about that Monday night game,
Yeah.
Bubba?
National TV.
Was that, could you make a case that was maybe the single greatest display of athletic prowess on behalf of the city of Philadelphia in any format? There's the Villanova beating Georgetown, there's the 80 World Series, there's a handful of them, but
83 Sixers run. Yeah.
But nothing like that one electric game.
You know what? One electric half.
Oh, quarter.
Yeah. I'll give you that. Yeah.
Wow.
So let's talk about it. I mean, offense, defense. I don't think the special teams. Well, there was a run back. Was there a run back? It's all
It
mixing
was
together.
very forgettable. The first play from scrimmage, though.
Yeah.
The first play from scrimmage just kind of told you what you needed to know.
And if you watch SportsCenter afterwards, evidently Deshaun Jackson went up to the guys and nudged them when they were doing their on field and said, "Watch my first play. I'm going deep." And there it was.
Oh man.
So
I'm still buzzed, Jimmy. I can't get over it.
The whole game. And I think that I'll be the first to say, and I'm certainly not the first to say it because we're filming this on the Thursday after the game, but you know, a lot of haters owe Michael Vick a big apology. He is the star that the Yayers said he was going to be, times 10. Super duper star. Every other month he gets a brand new car.
Just so electric. I think just as really from the Bird Nerd in Exile perspective to, if you've lived there at all and you've watched this team for a long time, you just always felt like a second-class citizen. The Cowboys had the hotter cheerleaders.
Right.
Giants had, and the Redskins, and the Cowboys had the rings.
We
said nothing. Then all of a
the
sudden,
players that lit up after they left the Eagles. Yep.
And we just never had the electric players. And now all of a sudden you look, it's not just Michael Vick, who is such there's no words to describe what he does athletically, but when you add in Deshaun Jackson and Jeremy Maclin and LaShawn McCoy, and just the speed and athleticism of these guys.
Yeah, the number of guys on the field, Jason Avant, the stars on defense. It's just this is a Class A team across the board, on par with the Patriots at their best, on par with last year's Saints, on par with the Colts in the early 2000s.
It's just amazing how quickly do the fortunes change in the NFL. It's fascinating shit.
A lot of it has to do with survival, and I said it last week, and I'll say it again. Parallels a lot with how the Phillies season went. You have the injuries coming early in the year, mid-year for the Phillies, but when everyone comes back and everyone's firing on all cylinders, unbeatable. You have to hand it to, basically you have to hand it to the people that we were making fun of at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and we're still going to be making fun of them.
Yeah, but not as.
It's usually the coaches anyway. It's the old white guys,
But I mean, shifting the offense is the stories. The stories you said and done. The offense, just big ups. There's no two ways about it. They did a great job, but the defense also absolutely stellar. Just superb play. 28 points is 28 points, but they were kind of playing goalie at the end rather than playing defense. I mean, we're talking about a great effort. Two
really
games in a row,
that Patterson kid too. I think I'm not as worried about our secondary as I was.
Well, Santi Samuel came out of his shell too. Like he was impotent for basically until the Colts game, and then the past two games he's just really lit it up, being a presence. Even if his best effort or if his best contribution is that he cuts off a quarter of the field for quarterbacks. There's only three quarters left.
He's still an extremely effective player in that way. But I would like to point out how many other sports shows on the internet or on television would use the word impotent in essentially an honest intellectual exchange.
That's what the
team.
Eagles do to other teams, is they render other teams impotent, entirely impotent, and flaccid too. I believe that the Redskins defense was rendered flaccid.
For years I thought it was pronounced flaccid.
Well,
I'm going to go with flaccid. I think you're probably right.
It's flaccid.
I think we're giddy on the Bird Nerds in Exile, and I think it comes down to Philadelphia is such a beat place, and we just know how to suffer. And when it
how
comes to
lucky,
the Eagles,
how lucky was it that it happened on Monday Night Football and not at not a Sunday night game, but a Sunday
right?
afternoon
Some
game
Sunday,
that
playing against a team that you won't play again for 3 years. It was the Redskins on Monday night, and Donovan.
McNabb, in Washington.
Just all these pieces
Monday
that,
night.
because if you look back to getting rid of, bringing Michael Vick onto the team and all the weird Wildcat shit that kind of worked, kind of didn't work, and then Donovan falling out of favor and
the
whole trade and all these things that actually...
The Cobb concussion,
all of a sudden,
the Vick ribs, the LaShawn McCoy, was it?
Well, Deshaun's
concussion. Deshaun's concussion. Sorry, I get the Shawns mixed up. But everything's gelling back into place. I'm excited. We don't have a lot of time, so let's talk about the rest of the NFC East, because it's still, say what you will, fine. The Kitna boys are out of it. There's still 3 teams in it right now.
Yeah, Big Blue always scares me. There's just, when it comes to the Eagles Giants, I just think I don't care how the last 4 games went. You look at some of those numbers of how many points we put up against the Giants. They got formidable talent on that team. So,
and you can say what you will about the game that they dropped to the Cowboys. The Eagles have lost games versus worse teams by more points and still made the playoffs. And
they look energized right now. Cowboys have a new coach and clearly a very different attitude, and they're playing with nothing to lose. And believe me, they hate the Birds like nobody's business. They would love to. Still got to play them twice.
Essentially, the 2 most challenging division rivalries comprise essentially the rest of the season.
Yeah, because you got 2 Giants games and 2 Cowboys games.
Right. And by the end of the season, I think the Birds have to play Chicago still and the Vikings. The Vikings by that time will probably have a new coach.
They'll be disintegrated by that.
Second string quarterback. The Bears will actually more than likely be. Hopefully, it's the most challenging game that the Eagles face. It's one they can stand to lose. Especially, the Redskins still have to play the Giants. The Cowboys still have to play everybody else. So if they beat each other up and the Eagles just coast on top, I say it's going to be good.
I'd say, Jimmy, it always comes down to injuries in the NFL, and I think if our speedsters can stay healthy, this offensive juggernaut is going to be so much fun to watch. We might not win both games against the Cowboys and both games against the Giants, but it's going to be a show.
And one thing that speaks well for injuries is that when most plays, when there's an Eagle that ends up in the end zone, that does a lot to avoid injuries. When there's 0 tackles, it's hard to get a concussion.
When Deshaun walks backward into the end zone, he's probably not going to get hurt doing that. Yeah.
So predictions for Sunday. Sunday night game, another. This would be the beginning of a true Steve Seibold level narrative. If the Eagles went from Golden Boy quarterback, concussion in the first game, to outlaw, rising from the ashes, broken ribs, return, Kevin Cobb gets NFC Offensive Player in the Week.
I'll give you my prediction, Jimmy, in a nutshell. I think it's going to be a little bit of a reality check. I think we'll win, but I think we're going to be reminded that some of the beefier teams with the really powerful front lines, offensive and defensive, are still going to be problematic for the Eagles, and I think we're going to see that on Sunday.
Yeah.
But I predict a win. I'm going to say 35-31.
Ah, funny. I was just thinking 34-31, just because I think that the Giants certainly have scoring power, and I think exactly what's going to happen is that the beginning of the fourth quarter is essentially going to be a 0-0 game, and the Eagles are just going to beat the Giants to the end zone one more time, whether it's by an extra field goal or an extra touchdown. It's going to be close. It's going to be one of those games where it's just offense versus defense on both sides of the ball, and whatever side wins that fight, that's who wins the game.
Yeah, I hope it's an honorable game, but fuck you, Big Blue. I hope you never win a fucking thing in the rest of the history of your goddamn franchise. So, yeah.
Yeah, suck it, Eli. Your brother's better. And the Eagles beat the shit out of him.
Fucking faggots, go back to Queens.
On that note, Go Birds, fly Eagles fly. That's all the time we have, you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Leave us comments, send us email.
We read them all.
God bless. Get well soon, Dad. Peace out.